Hello, and welcome to a little video about Target 9C, where we're going to use triangle congruences to solve problems. Okay, so a little warm-up. We are given that triangle SAG and SXG are isosceles triangles with base AG and GX. I personally like to mark the bases. Okay. And we are also told that ASG is congruent to XSG. ASG is this angle right here because it goes ASG. It's congruent to XSG. I'm going to put the angle mark here because XSG is that angle. Right. Some properties of isosceles triangles. So when we have an isosceles triangle, it has two congruent angles and two congruent sides attached to its base. I personally like to start with the sides, so let's do that. The triangle on the left is going to have a congruent side on the left and on the right. The other isosceles triangle will also have their left and right sides congruent. So if their left side is the middle, then it's the same as that right side. And that's all I really need, because I could mark the angles, but I already have a congruency. Check it out. Side, angle, side. On both triangles. Side, angle, side. Alright, let's write some congruent statements. Oh, let's first write their congruent by SAS, of course. Side, angle, side. The first congruent statement, easy peasy, we were given that statement. ASG congruent to XSG. And we're just practicing statements. We're not writing the reasons right now. We can also write that let's say the outside sides are congruent. Side AS is congruent to XS. And we could also say that the middle is congruent to itself, just to practice that reflexive property. Okay, well, let's take a look at number 1. Which congruent statements would we need to show that the triangle KML is congruent to RTS by side angle side? We are already given that angle M and angle T are congruent to each other. Let's take a look at this triangle here. If I want side angle side, and we already have our angle, I need to put some sides around it. I need to put a side on the left and a side on the right. Let's do the same thing with this one. If we already have an angle right here, that means we need a side on the left and a side on the right. Let's write down those congruent statements. We would have that KM is congruent to RT, and we could also say that ML is congruent to ST. Number 2 is asking us a similar question, but it's giving us some options, so a little multiple choice practice. Which congruent statements are needed to show that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF by angle side angle? We already have a side, which means we are missing 2 angles. Let's take a look at the multiple choice and see what we can cross off. First of all, I can cross off A and B because all they offer to us are sides. C and D start the same way. They both start with B is congruent to E. So angle B is congruent to angle E. In order to make that angle side angle, I would need angle C and angle F. And that's option D. Number 3, which congruent statements can be used to show these 2 triangles congruent by side angle side? We are already given an angle, which means we are missing 2 sides. This allows me to cross off options C and D immediately. I don't need any angles. A and B start the same way, that AB is congruent to ED. Let's mark it. AB is congruent to ED. Just looking at the pictures, in order for side angle side to work, I would need this side to be congruent to this one. That looks like option B. Number 4. Which congruence statements can be used to show that these two triangles are congruent by the side-side-side theorem? Well, it looks like we already have two sides. We can cross off C and D, those are just angles. Letter A and B start the same way, that AB is congruent to ED, which only leaves us with this side and that side to have to be congruent, which is option A. Number 5. Suppose angle DTU is congruent to U at UTS. What information can we use to conclude that these triangles are congruent by side angle side? All right, so I'm being told they're congruent by side angle side, so I'm just going to go ahead and end my triangle congruence. And we got SAS. All right, so what information we need, the reasons, we're going to create some givens. The first thing that we need here is a side. Let's mark the side DT and the side ST. Definitely need those two to have side angle side. Side. Just going to write side. This probably shouldn't have made a reasons and statements for this one. Statements would just be enough. I'll see what I feel like doing in class. We also have the given angle. We don't need to make this up. We can just write it down. DTU and UTS. Given angle. And we could also use the side in the middle. What is that called? Do you remember? When we repeat ourselves because both triangles have it, that is a reflexive side. So this is what we needed. We needed one side and another side. Fantastic. Oh no, I zoomed out. One more problem. Suppose AB is congruent to DC. I like it. Let's mark it. AB, DC. What else do we need to make these triangles congruent by angle side angle? Well, we have the side. So AB is congruent to DC. And that was a given side. And we know we are going to have ABD congruent to triangle DCA by angle side angle. If I have a side, I'm missing the two angles. Let's surround our side with two angles. On triangle ABD, I'm going to put an angle on B, and I'm going to put another one on angle A. I'm going to do the same thing with DCA, put an angle on C, and a double on D. For angle C and B, let's name it angle ABD, congruent to DCA. Let's see, we needed an angle. And then we also needed the top two angles. Angle, BAD, a bad angle, congruent to angle CDA. And that's just the other angle we needed. So the two pieces of information we were missing were the two angles. All right. That's all I wanted to do for day 1 of congruence theorems. We'll practice day 2 a little later. Have a wonderful rest of whatever day it is for you. Bye!